Using any three prescribed texts, comment on the effective use of suspense. Comment on the effective use of suspense to a general understanding of the texts. The old man and the sea. Santiago has gone to sea for 84 days without a catch, and he is declared a Salau. Nevertheless, Santiago believes that 85 is a lucky number, and he decides to go far into the sea. And we start asking ourselves if actually 85 will be a lucky day for him to have a catch, which of course happens, highlighting superstition and also portrays him as being superstitious. Santiago goes far into the sea, and a marlin takes the bait. And the skillful fisherman that he is, he knows that it's going to be a long battle. And the fish continues to drag him in the sea. We begin to wonder if he will be able to kill the marlin, which he does. But because the marlin has dragged him very deep into the sea, we also begin to wonder how he will manage to go back home. The fight with the marlin and the death highlights determination. While in Casablanca, Santiago faces off in a hand game with the strongest worker on the docks from Cienfuegos. And we begin to wonder if he will be able to win the hand game. The hand game lasts for hours with a change of referees. And at the end of it all, Santiago wins to the general surprise of everyone, highlighting endurance and determination. When Santiago kills the marlin and the blood spills on the water, Santiago knows that this is a clear invitation to the sharks to come and dinner. And we begin to doubt whether he will be able to bring the marlin back to shore. The fish is too big for him to put into the boat, and so he lashes it by the side of the skiff. Nevertheless, the marlin is attacked, and huge chunks of meat are beaten off from the marlin, and for Santiago to arrive at the shore with the skeleton. The skeleton of the fish and its size restores his lost pride, highlighting success in failure. In twilight of misty foliage, the novel begins without introducing the narrator, and we begin to wonder whom the narrator is, who makes some salient comments about the evils that take place in the society, such as the corruption in the administration and other evil in the society. We end up to find out that the narrator at the beginning is Bimai, who is very critical about everything that goes around him. Reverend Rodberger is on his way to Nkucha for a mission that had been assigned to him by the Vatican. And he is known to be someone who is not very friendly with money and a very corrupt cleric. We begin to wonder, especially as he already has hatched a plan in his mind to make much money out of the mission. And we begin to wonder whether his devilish plan will come to place. Unfortunately, he tries as much as possible to add the name of non-Sambisans into Sambi's delegation to sway the discussion in favor of Sergeant, and also ask them to sign 500,000 francs each and only collect a lesser amount of that, highlighting corruption and hypocrisy. Mfinyi is hired to fish out the Gangbo family that is hidden in the rocks for having killed some white soldiers. We begin to wonder whether he will be able to succeed, especially as the villagers have vowed to defend the family. It turns out that it's a failure, as the villagers transform themselves into bees and attack his family, killing all his animals and also injuring his family, highlighting revenge and ingratitude. Sambi's concert at Bakken, in order to come to a compromise for the heavy discrimination that they have been facing in the hands of Sajamites. And Reverend Rod Berger has a plan of adding non-Sambisans to the delegation of Sergeant in order to sway the discussion in favor of Sergeant. And we begin to doubt whether the plan will work. Nevertheless, BMI raises the question, and Sambi's delegation threatens to withdraw from the consultations, pushing Mponwe to promise to give BMI some money, which he refuses, and later on makes it as if it is BMI who is asking for money from him, highlighting bribery, corruption, and hypocrisy. Lastly, Reverend Rod Baker orders for the killing of his eminence. He gets the services of Dracula and some other hoodlums, and we begin to wonder if they will succeed. Although they are warmly received by the good-hearted cardinal, they abduct him, try to kill him, and inform him that they had been sent by Reverend Rod Berger. Fortunately, he survives the ordeal, highlighting the evil in society and in the church. In the swamp dwellers, Igwezu has traveled to the city, and there is great hope that he will come back with some money. And we are anxious to find out what is the outcome of his adventure in the city. When confronted by the Kadiye, he tells them his ordeal, how he had lost everything in the city, including his wife, and begins to question the Kadiye whether he had not done the right thing, highlighting frustration and man's inhumanity. Igwezu loves everything in the city, and he goes there to make his life better, but he loses it, and he is anxious to come back home to meet his farm, which he has labored upon. We begin to wonder whether he will meet the farm in good condition, only to find out that all his crops have been destroyed by the floods, leaving him furious and pushes him to attack the Kadiye with searching questions to expose his hypocrisy and corrupt nature. The beggar gives a long narration of the drought in the north, how there had been some little rain, and how the people had gone into their farms to dig and plant, and how the plants had sprouted, and how they had rubbed themselves towards the plants, hoping for a great harvest. Nevertheless, the locust had come and destroyed everything, and they had lost their livelihood, highlighting the hazards of nature. Lastly, when Igwezu comes back to the village, frustrated from his farm, he decides to shift the Kadiye, and with the illustrations from the beggar to prove that the Kadiye may not be as holy as he claims to be, Igwezu asks him searching questions, and he wants to know if he had not given the right sacrifices to protect his livelihood, his wife, and his farm, and exposes the Kadiye to be a fraud, leading the Kadiye to be very angry, and he threatens that he will hear from him. And this pushes Igwezu to leave the village in a hurry, leaving the beggar as his bondsman, highlighting conflict. In an unanswered cry, Yapose, whose daughters have been disgraced by Olabisi, orders Makalai to bring Olabisi to the Bondo camp to be circumcised, else she will have difficulty with her pregnancy. We want to find out whether Makalai will be able to bring her daughter. And so she finds Pa Adamu and asks him to do the best to bring back her daughter, who is now in the forest. Though he meets her, he takes money from her and helps her to escape back to Freetown, highlighting bribery and corruption. Olabisi wants to escape, but finally finds herself in the Bondo camp, where she is caught by Yapose and her daughters, and will begin to wonder if she'll be circumcised when she's taken into the Bondo camp. With a frantic effort, she fights her way out and runs down the hill. Unfortunately, she is helped by Pa Adamu to escape back to Freetown, highlighting determination. Oya is very angry with Ade Jones for not being committed to their relationship and wants to walk away. And we begin to wonder whether she will walk out of the life of Ade Jones, who loves her very much. As she's about to leave, Ade Jones proposes, and she comes back and she defends Olabisi in her case in court, and after the case, they get married and live happily, highlighting love. Lastly, Ade Jones refuses that her daughter will be circumcised, and he takes the matter to court. It's a groundbreaking court case because it is challenging the very essence of a long-age tradition of the people. And we begin to wonder, with all the evidence brought about by the lawyer to prove that Olabisi had started sleeping with men, and this is a reason why she should be circumcised in order that she can control her sexual urge. At the end, the court case is in favor of Olabisi, who has the choice to decide whether she should be circumcised or not, highlighting conflict and attacking the very essence of certain outdated traditions that have health risks on the health of those who are involved in such practices. But the fervency with which the women come to support the case highlights the importance of tradition.